Welcome to this video. I am CA Venkat, simplifying complex financial jargon. In this episode, we're delving into income tax, particularly sections 44AD and 44ADA. We'll debunk common myth and clarify confusing tax terminology. If you find this video useful, please share and subscribe. Your support helps us deliver more insightful videos. Now let's dive into the world of income tax and bust some myths together. Ever heard the common myth that the profit percentages specified in sections 44AD and 44ADA are the maximum limits? It's a misconception that's been doing the rounds for quite some time. The truth is, these sections of the Income Tax Act don't cap your profit at 8% for businesses and 50% for professions. They actually set the floor, not the ceiling. You may ask, what does this mean? Well, it's quite simple. These sections set the minimum percentage of profit that should be offered for income tax. So if your business is raking in profits higher than 8% or your profession is earning more than 50%, you have to declare that higher amount as income. So no, you cannot just declare 8% or 50% as your profit as income for income tax if you're earning more. This might be surprising, but let's dig deeper into these sections. Let's start with section 44AD. It's a special provision for computing profits and gains of business on a presumptive basis. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's quite simple. This section applies to eligible businesses and prescribes a specific profit rate. So, the provision of section 44AD states, notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in sections 28 to 43C, an eligible assessee engaged in an eligible business, a sum equal to 8% of the total turnover or gross receipts, or a sum higher than the aforesaid sum claimed to have been earned by the eligible assessee, shall be deemed to be the profits and gains of such business chargeable to tax under the head Profits and Gains of Business or Profession. Did you catch all that? Let's break it down. Essentially, the section states that for an eligible business, the profits and gains are presumed to be at least 8% of the total turnover or gross receipts for the previous year. However, if the eligible assessee claims to have earned a higher sum, that higher amount is what will be considered as the income. In simpler terms, if your actual profit is more than 8%, you have to show that higher amount as income, not just the 8%. Now, let's move on to section 44ADA. This one is for professionals. Section 44ADA is a special provision of the Income Tax Act that applies to certain professions. It's designed to simplify the calculation of profits and gains for tax purposes. Here's how it works. If you're an individual or a partnership firm engaged in a profession referred to in section 44AA and your total gross receipts don't exceed 50 lakh rupees in a year, then this provision applies to you. It states that a sum equal to 50% of your total gross receipts, or a sum higher than this if you claim it, is deemed to be your profits and gains chargeable to tax under the head Profits and Gains of Business or Profession. Remember, this isn't a cap on your profit. Just like in 44AD, if your actual profit exceeds 50%, you're required to report that higher amount, not just the 50%. Let's quickly recap what we've discussed. We've debunked a popular myth in the industry, one that even tax professionals sometimes believe, the idea that businesses should only show 8% of revenue as profit and professions should only show 50%. This is a misunderstanding of sections 44AD and 44ADA of the Income Tax Act. These sections specify the minimum percentages of profit that should be offered for income tax, not maximums. That means if your profit is higher than 8% for businesses or 50% for professions, you need to report those higher figures. These sections are designed to ensure that everyone pays their fair share of taxes based on their actual profits, not a fixed percentage. Remember, these sections are about minimum profit percentages, not maximum. So if you've profits higher than these percentages, make sure to report them correctly.